In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you some more amazing things that your Cricut machines can do. We are going to be using dollar store items to put together some gorgeous home decor that you don't want to miss. This video is sponsored by Cricut, so hopefully leaving you with a ton of inspiration and some new ideas. Did you know that the Cricut Maker can cut over 300 different types of materials, which is insane? Whether you are wanting to cut the most delicate paper to harder materials like different types of wood, leather, and even engraving metal, tons more too many to list, but I'll leave a link down below if you want to go check out everything about the Cricut Maker or any of the machines and see everything that they can cut. But today I'm going to share with you how I am using my Cricut to cut out fabric. Fabric is something that I love working with, and I used to actually sew like little baby blankets and stuff just for myself. So I love working with fabric, but just not in always the traditional way. We're definitely not sewing today, but I am creating some home decor with beautiful fabric and my Cricut Maker. I love how the Cricut cuts out my fabric perfect and precise so that I don't have to worry about cutting it too small or getting it not perfectly even. So it definitely helps out with that. I don't have to hand trace and use a pair of scissors that I hope is sharp enough to cut out my fabric. So I love using my Cricut for that. Don't forget to leave me a big thumbs up. It really helps me out here on YouTube. And let's go ahead and get started with today's projects. For the first DIY, I'm making a home decor piece with like a fabric sign on it, and I was specifically wanting to make this for like a bathroom or laundry room, so we are going to be protecting this with some Mod Podge or any type of protectant that you would like to use. But I just picked up a dollar store sign, and I love these ones that have the glass on it because I am going to be removing the words on there, and then using some fabric. Now all of my fabric today I picked up at Walmart, but you could use any kind that you want. I do like to cut my fabric down to size, and I ironed it with my Cricut heat press. I love my heat press. I've been using it on like every Cricut project. For this project, I'm going to be using some Heat and Bond. Now you can pick this up at Walmart or any craft store, but it is an iron-on adhesive that will kind of bond two fabrics together. But if you are not even bonding two fabrics together, you also can put this on the backing just to make your fabric more stiff, and it just makes it easier to work with. So I like to put this on there, and you can cut fabric just plain on your Cricut mat. I feel like it's a lot easier to work with. So removing the wording off of my sign and bonding my fabric to the Heat and Bond, it only takes about 6 seconds to adhere to there. I'm measuring my little sign and then changing out my blade for a Cricut rotary blade. These are awesome. They cut fabric really well. So getting that loaded in there, and then I'm able to go on the computer and just pull up the shape and make like a 7-inch square, because that's what's going to fit into these signs, and I don't have to worry about getting this perfectly straight or trying to cut this myself. It just takes a couple seconds to load it into the machine, and it cuts out the perfect square that I need. I'm sharing with you how you could put this on the back and kind of have the glass cover, but I wanted to apply this to the front. I love what it looks like whenever it is kind of just floating on the glass. I did have to put my original blade back in so that I could cut out a little image off of Cricut Design Space with my iron-on vinyl. So I'm cutting down this black, and always make sure that you do hit the mirror button whenever you are doing iron-on. I've made that mistake a couple of times, but I am cutting out this beautiful little bathroom sign, and then I can iron it on directly on my fabric. I chose this image that said soap and water. I felt like it was really really pretty. I always love weeding out these images. It's one of my favorite things to do whenever I'm working with the Cricut. I find it really relaxing. And then taking my square and my Cricut heat press, you're able to set it for just the 25 seconds and it tells you when it is done. And this looks so beautiful. And then all I had to do was Mod Podge it down on my square, on my glass frame, and then I put a layer of Mod Podge over the top of it. I feel like using the fabric just gives it so much texture and looks so beautiful. In person, you can instantly tell that it's fabric and not just scrapbooking paper, and I love that. And putting the coat of Mod Podge over the top is going to really seal it in and make it look beautiful, but also make it to where you are able to wipe it down if it does get dusty. I did add way too much Mod Podge, so I had to scoop some of that out. I spread it out all evenly, but I do like a super thick coat, and then let this dry. Next up, I'm using just a dollar store plastic tray, and these are really cool because I only had to paint the back. I wanted the front to kind of have that pretty shiny finish, so you'll see what I mean in just a second. But taking this tray, flipping it upside down, and painting it with a couple of coats of the white chalk paint. You just want to make sure that your paint is thick enough that you're not seeing a lot of brush strokes if the light does shine through the back. And then for this project, I'm going to be adding the material in the middle, kind of like the first project, but I am going to be cutting out the letters home out of the fabric. I had to show you guys how you could do this. It is such a cool idea, and there are so many possibilities. So I first cut down a piece of this darker gray. I am going to be using a patterned print for the backing, so I did want the letters to be solid. So I picked out this dark gray and then attaching it to the heat and bond so that I will be able to bond these letters onto the backing fabric. Using my rotary blade again, I just set it to cut, and it is cutting these out gorgeous. I am just using another image off of the Cricut design space that I picked out, this word home, and I was able to stretch it so the letters were a little bit taller and would fill up the empty space. I am also using this fabric for this project, and this also came from Walmart, and I feel like the pattern is beautiful and perfect for farmhouse. It's kind of in between like a light gray, but it almost has like some blue undertones in there. I cut it down to size and then ironing it out so that I can see exactly where my letters need to go. Make sure that you are continuing to iron everything out so there is no wrinkles. And then this still has the paper on the back, so I'm just going to set it and kind of play around with the letters and see how I like them. But to get this to bond to the fabric, you remove the heat and bond paper from the back and then just iron this down on top of the fabric, and it will just kind of like hold really strong like glue and not move. Your fabric will not ravel. I love using this stuff, and it is perfect to use alongside your Cricut. And then once again, because I am using fabric as part of my decor that's going to be setting on a shelf and getting dusty, I do go over this with another thick coat of Mod Podge. I think this is my favorite out of all of the projects today, but you could customize this sign. You could cut out your last name using the letters, but this is such a really cool method to get just a different look and not use vinyl every time. The Cricut cuts out so many different things, so I do want to take advantage of that and test all of these different materials. Next up, I thought it would be really fun to create a colorful little sign maybe for my craft room. So using one of these wooden signs from the Dollar Tree, I take the 3D pieces off, and then using more of my decorative fabric, I cut this down to size and put the heat and bond on the back and then Mod Podge it down on my sign. The reason for the heat and bond on this project was I knew that floral decor and the thankful words might shine through the fabric because it is kind of thin, so I did not want that to happen, so I am putting the paper on the backing, and this will kind of just prevent me from having to go in and paint the back white and wait for all of that paint to dry. So then I could just Mod Podge, leave the white paper on and Mod Podge that down, and you won't be able to see through the fabric. I wanted to mix this up and change all of these signs, so I picked up one of these wooden circles from Hobby Lobby. I thought it would be fun to decorate that and kind of make it pop off for like a 3D piece. I started by painting the wooden circle white, and then I'm going to cut out this little vine heart that I thought was adorable on Cricut Design Space, weed that out, and then attach it to the white circle. Make sure that you always have transfer tape whenever you are working with your Cricut. It makes it so much easier to apply these little decals to what you're going for, and they all get moved in one piece. I stuck this on the center of the heart and then decided to distress it with a little bit of sandpaper. Let me know in the comments if you have ever worked with fabric or this material with your Cricut. I would love to know. There's so many things that you can do with them. I added in this little jute twine bow just to give it a little bit of extra detail and textures in there, but I thought it was really, really cute and perfect, like I say, for a craft room or office. Thank you all so much for coming along and crafting with me today. I love getting out my Cricut and using it. Thanks again to Cricut for sponsoring today's video. If you are wanting to buy yourself a Cricut, make sure you go check out the link down below. I will have listed all of my favorite machines. I currently own 3 of them. Love all of them so much. It's just depending on what you are wanting a Cricut for versus if you want to spend a little bit extra to upgrade to the different machines to cut out more materials. But I feel like all of them are perfect for like everyday personal uses. Now if you are wanting to open a business or cut out larger pieces or do like huge signs, then you might need to make sure that you're not getting the little small joy. But I have a joy and I think you should have both because I love it that much. So definitely check out those links down below. Thank you all for watching. I hope you guys leave here feeling inspired, and I'll see you in the next one. Happy crafting. Bye.